This just like kind of highlights it, where there was like a 2-week span maybe where I believed the police were coming after me.
Good grief.
That's what happens when this side effect of medication hits you hard.
Rolling.
Yeah, how do we do this video?
Yeah.
I like to keep my corner of the internet pretty much about lighthearted, fun music stuff. And this is not gonna be that. 2023 was my hardest year by far. At the very beginning of 2023, I had a very severe manic episode that lasted at its peak for a week and then trailed off for months, and then went to the opposite swing around August, back up to where I'm at now. And during that time, I was diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder. If you're like, I'm not really sure what that means, neither did we. Talking to a lot of professionals, what happened was a side effect of a medication that I was on, and as long as I stay away from that medication in the future, this will not happen. But if it does, we'll be way more prepared. As of right now, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of this, and it would have been a lot easier if we had any awareness, and it would have been a lot easier if there wasn't so much stigma around mental health stuff. So that is kind of the theme of this video, I think. It's like, let's raise a little bit of awareness and try to shave off some of the mental health stigma that made this last year even harder than it needed to be. Okay, Rob from the future. We already made this video, and when watching it, I was a bit vague and got rid of some details because they were like kind of embarrassing, and now I kind of want to come back and just be more open. So this is Rob's embarrassment corner when this comes up or when things are getting more real. They're definitely, here's a warning at the beginning of the video that we get into some really serious stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't watch this, period. Back to the video. And maybe just selfishly too, like making this video just kind of feels like just like shedding some of this like shame and embarrassment about this stuff. Anyway, we'll just go to like when we figured out something was definitely wrong. It was the very, very end of 2022, very end of December. I was already like in a good mood, but then I shot up in excitement to like what I would imagine being on like really, really hard drugs would feel like totally euphoric.
Yeah.
I felt that for a week straight.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep. I didn't need to eat, and I was just so excited and euphoric for a whole week. And I lost 20 pounds in that week because I didn't need to eat. The medication that I was on that was slowly bringing up these chemicals in my brain up and up and up and up, that was ultimately the culprit. It's from what we know. And a disposition to be bipolar. Bipolar 1 disorder is classified on, have you had a manic episode? Yes, therefore you're bipolar. So I do have bipolar 1 disorder, but I didn't feel like that before, but maybe I did. I don't know. There aren't like super, super clear answers here. Had so much energy just writing down ideas for videos as fast as I could.
Yeah.
Unfortunately too, another big part of being in a manic episode, you just have no filter whatsoever. And I texted like everyone I knew. I did a lot of like trauma dumping, as I learned it was called. It's weirdly like the mania allowed me to reaccess like old memories that I still like hadn't processed yet, I guess, and just get it all out at once at my friend's house. Oh boy. Went over to like hang out, and then I ended up just like rambling and crying for hours.
What?
Yeah. They were like, is everything okay? That's a part of mania. Directly after, because I was still in hypomania, I remember telling them like, I don't feel embarrassed about it because I'm going through a medical thing. And then later, once the dove the other way, I was so ashamed about it. It was so hard to see them.
Yeah.
And now I'm back at like, yeah, I'm not embarrassed about it.
Good.
But also sorry guys. Sent like weird messages, even sent like songs. Like I was just so excited. I was just like a creative machine.
Yeah, you were.
I'm an excited like golden retriever energy type of guy, sometimes especially about like creative works.
Yeah.
But this was like taking that part of me and dialing it up to 1,000,000 and having no filter whatsoever. I would send long rambly messages, even to people I didn't really know. So on the rambly messages, it's weird to not talk to someone for like 10 years and then send them a bunch of rambly messages about like the most intimate
things that you continued to think about.
Yeah, it's just very embarrassing. I sent rambly messages to all my ex-girlfriends, even people I didn't know, even like musicians on Instagram that we just follow each other.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I reached out to Isaac from Knock Loose and sent him a bunch of rambling messages about how much I love the band.
Yeah. Like,
sorry, dude. That's what happens when this happens.
Yep.
Maybe interesting to this video, I also sent some rambly messages to Corey Taylor, and he immediately knew what was going on. He was like, it sounds like you're having a manic episode. And he was like, the opposite swing is gonna really suck, but you can get through it.
And you were like, that's not happening to me.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's not. I'm just really happy right now. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But that's a part of it. Like, your brain chemistry is off. While mania was happening, I felt amazing, invincible.
You knew you were acting strangely.
Yes.
By sending these messages?
Yes.
But you still had to do it.
Had to do it. Had to let people know. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Do you feel you're morally obligated to tell people these things? It's like grandiosity. Other friends who are bipolar have told me that they thought that they could solve a crime or they were part of like a secret conspiracy. Things didn't get that far with me. Most of the messages were me just telling people that I loved them. I love you, man.
Yeah.
Like that type of drunk mania is like a way other level of that. Most of my messages were that.
Okay.
I wish that there was someone there earlier to be like, hey, we know you're excited to talk to all these people and tell them all these things. Just write it down, have it organized in a document, and then once this whole wave has passed, then you can decide whether or not to tell them. Pretty much everyone I reached out to was like, something's up and we just want to know that you're okay. There was a few people that I reached out to that didn't really understand and they like got mad at me or blocked me. That's embarrassing. Overwhelmingly, it was something's clearly up, are you okay? Thankfully, we had a friend, she knew exactly what was going on because she had recently had a friend to have the same thing happen.
Yeah.
Like same exact thing.
Yeah.
She gave us a lot of advice and let us know what was going on, and she knows who she is and we love her so much. Screw it, I'm just gonna say her name. Essa, we love you so much.
It seems like this happens not infrequently. This is something that happens to a lot more
of
frequently
people.
than...
I had no idea at all. And she was very blunt with us. She's like, this is gonna last over a year. You're going to be coming down from this for a long time, and then you're gonna swing in the opposite direction, and then you won't be totally back to normal until like more than a year after this. And I was like, nah. No way. Let's start a bunch of projects. Another like thing about mania is you just start a bunch of projects. I wanted to do a whole like rollerblading series, and I hired a shooter and editor to do it for me to have a whole other channel all about rollerblading, and we filmed like 5 videos.
There's a couple videos that I'm really excited about and have been done for a really long time.
That are a little nuts. Like one, you know, I grew up seeing the Michelangelo video where he's like,
I'm going to give you the keys to the Lamborghini.
I was like, I want him to actually do that. So I was like, let's rent a Lamborghini. No way.
Wait!
And I have this song where I like shred with Michelangelo video, and I think that is like not that weird for my channel.
That makes sense for the channel. It's just a kind of a more expensive prop than we usually shell out for.
That's what's weird about it. If I wasn't in hypomania, I would probably still do that. But I would come up with a video concept that could like be long enough that it might actually make money, and I would try to find a way to get a Lamborghini as like a sponsorship. Yeah. Rather than just freaking paying for
to rent a Lamborghini. Yeah.
So I had a Lamborghini for a weekend. So that will come out at some point.
This is not bragging about spending. This is not how Rob spends money.
No.
That's why this should have been warning sign.
No. That's the kind of weird thing in this position too, because it's not that weird for me to be like, could you buy 40 straw hats for this next video? Let's beat the world record for the largest pedal board.
I want to break a bunch of bottles in Uptown Recording.
Yeah. It's not that weird for me to have super outlandish ideas. If you were around me, it would have been clear that something was wrong.
There's only one decision that you made during that time where I was like, I don't understand why you're doing this.
Yes.
It was the Winter's Months.
I wanted to do a 10-year anniversary of my album, The Winter's Months, which is the album I made like right before I went full time. It felt like a last ditch effort of me having a music career. I wanted to do a 10-year anniversary. I paid to get vinyls made. I paid like $7 grand to get a bunch of vinyls made.
Paid for a whole remaster.
I hired a string quartet, which was like $4 grand. I was going to do a whole live performance of the entire album and like pay these musicians for everything, and then I was going to re-release it. Yeah, on the 10-year anniversary. And there's a few things about that really don't make sense. First, it's like, this was an important album I made when I was 20, but like, I don't think it's a masterpiece. All this stuff would come out at the same time that I'm trying to release another new album.
A whole new album that you've already recorded. Yeah. Ready to go.
Yeah, and maybe the most baffling thing about this 10-year anniversary not working is that the album is 12 and a half years old.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. I didn't even realize. I did all this stuff. I spent all this money. Sophie told me that.
Yeah.
She was like, hold on a second. After I had my week of mania, I was scheduled to do Sonic Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the weirdness that happened was edited out. If you'd filmed with me before, clearly something was up. Like, you can tell, I'm like clearly really like excited. The crew's awesome. They might have just thought that I was just kind of like that.
Well, no, and Sonic Boom was awesome. So, like, I mean, it worked.
It feels healing to me knowing that good things did come out of it.
Yeah.
And we're focusing on those now, but there was way more bad. When you're that euphoric, then you get into just extreme risk taking, like you have no risk aversion at all.
Bought a motorcycle. Never been on one, but I'm leaving the dealership on top of one of the most powerful ones they have.
Or like crazy spending.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Let's get into some of that.
Yeah, I decided to put in my investment into the video game, which I'm now so glad that I did.
Yeah, because it's awesome.
Oh, man. Oh, dude.
This is Fretless. We're super proud of it. It's an RPG, but instead of collecting swords and shields, you collect instruments and gear, and your attacks are riffs.
A project like that is a big risk, no matter what.
Yes, I put a huge investment into the game. This was the biggest investment I've had into anything, including my house. And then thankfully we did land a publisher. From a bunch of publishers, they're like, this is such a cool idea, but like it's a risk because no one's made a game like this before. And I just had no regard for risk.
The game is incredible.
The game is incredible.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I don't know, I might have still invested in the game, but the reality is that I was impaired.
Yeah.
At the time. Thankfully it worked out. It could have been a lot worse. What other projects did I do? I worked on a metal song. I reached out to my favorite metal drummer, Alex Rudinger. The original lyrics of the song were full on trauma dumping.
Yep.
Once I came down a little bit, I was like, what if I make it something lighthearted? I'll make it about hating traffic and just smash a bunch of cars.
For an entire day.
Yeah.
I love that video.
Yeah, and I love the song too.
That song is insane.
I think the song rules.
It's so good.
That there's positive things that have come out of this makes the blow of this last year a little easier. But anyway, we were trying to do way too many projects at once.
Yeah.
It was completely unsustainable. And then I got really sick and had to cancel everything.
Yeah. Once you canceled everything, then it was clear something was really going on.
Yeah, and then I was out for like months. When I was in my Manic episode and even down, I didn't think that anything was wrong.
Nope.
That's a really weird thing throughout this year. It's like, am I sane right now?
Can I trust this decision?
Yes, totally.
I think we should talk about 1st of October.
Yeah. For those who are unaware, 1st of October is a band between Andrew Huang and I where we go into a studio every year on the 1st of October and make a 10-track album from scratch in one day. And it's like my favorite thing. I mean, 1st of October is that way later, which is another thing that I booked. I was like, let's get the whole crew into an amazing Airbnb in London, and we're gonna do it in Abbey Road. It's gonna be amazing. So that was booked for October.
Yeah.
And then I started to have the opposite dip happen, where I started to get really, really depressed.
Yeah.
Really, really depressed. I wanted to pause here as this is a really interesting time. Mania has come and gone, depression is creeping in, and you're starting to feel the weight of the decisions you made, and it feels like you're standing in the rubble of a bomb that you yourself set off. I'm starting to believe that I've destroyed most of my relationships. I'm not really sure what's real. Then there's the undeniably real numbers when it comes to money. I've spent my life building up a savings for myself and my business to get stability in this volatile field, and I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to have this career over the last 16 years and save during all that time. And now I'm looking at my accounts with the majority of that gone and depleting fast. This absolutely horrified me. And the last video that we shot before I was like, I need to stop, was shooting with Marcin.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so Marcin was here. I remember thinking like, this is the most depressed I've ever been in my life. And like me and Marcin are hanging out. Marcin's great, by the way.
There is
like,
a clip.
He helped my spirits go
There's
up.
a clip that I didn't put in the video where Marcin looks at me and Tegan and he goes,
He's not like sad or anything, right? It kind of seems sad.
He thinks I'm sad because the video isn't going well, or like I'm not excited to see him. I'm always excited to see Marcin.
Yeah.
I love him. He's like my little guitar cousin, kind of. I thought, oh, once I get into the shoots, I'll just get excited like always, but it started getting to the points where I wasn't excited about it. And then I just kept getting more depressed.
Yeah.
And more depressed and more depressed and more depressed. Until I experienced basically what the Manic episode was. With the same amount of energy, the same amount of not being able to sleep, not eating, I lost 20 pounds. Except this one lasted 2 weeks. And my emotions were the exact opposite.
Yeah.
In my head, all my relationships are going away soon. I'm completely destroying my career, and I'm just like completely hopeless and stuck. This just like kind of highlights it, where there was like a 2-week span maybe where I believed the police were coming after me.
that's wild.
Yeah. Then we knew something was up. I didn't sleep. Like I slept for like maybe the second week I would get like 1 or 2 hours of sleep, but I would just like pace around my house. This is when it gets like kind of hard to talk about. The reality is during those 2 weeks, like that's the reality. And I was like pacing around my house, like I couldn't get it off my mind. That was for weeks and then trailed off. So we knew something was up. It was very scary. Mm-hmm. So like we need to get help. And then I
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out here how very, very lucky I was that I was already in therapy. It was their guidance that brought me to this next step.
And then I spent 6 weeks in an outpatient program when I really should have spent more. It's a place where you like go in and they like check up on you every day and you're with other people that are like really struggling, and you have a therapist there and like a psychiatrist and like you have a whole like care team, they say. That whole 6 weeks is a whole other story. Another thing was just getting to the outpatient program because I would not have done that by myself. Tamara did everything. And throughout this entire process, she was there for me every step of the way.
I feel like she was the only one who got you through this.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like crying, but I feel, I
Jake's
think,
crying. She was my only support.
I think she was so alone in it.
Oh yeah. Immediate in-person support, it's just me and her. It was really hard.
It's amazing what she did.
Yeah. I kept telling people like, she needs to leave me. She can't deal with this. This isn't fair to her that she needs to leave. Well, she's not. That's her choice. It's embarrassing. It's hard for me to say that I burdened her that much, but she was there every step of the way, no questions asked. Really thankful for her, geez. She rules. My wife rules. And I remember first going into the place, getting an interview with a doctor, like what's going on, like what services can we do to help? And in hindsight, they probably thought this was just part of psychosis. I was like, I'm the main character in this video game that's coming out. And if this comes, as soon as it comes out that I did this, all my friends who are working on the game and the game's gonna crash and no one's gonna buy it. Just like the police that are coming after you. You also think that you're the main character in a video game. The outpatient program, it was like kind of like school. I didn't like sleep there. Like it wasn't something like that. Like I remember going there and thinking that I was being followed, and I believed that the police were after me from some of my like bad driving going to and from. And I believe that there was people like taking notes and calling the police. And at some point the police were gonna come to my house and be like, here's all the driving infractions that you had. And at one point, it's the type of play where if you're late, they call you. So I was late because I didn't go straight there because I thought someone was following me.
You were trying to lose a tail.
Yeah, I was trying to lose someone who was following. And then and then I got there and like, okay, that's a little weird. Also, what else isn't normal? And when I was there, I felt like I shouldn't have been there. I thought that I was making it all up for attention. Like that's what I believed. So I didn't really feel like I deserved the help there. Again, this is some of the mental health stuff that like, I hope this video is pushing against. Having so much stigma that like these things aren't real. Like you just gotta, you know,
push through it.
Just push, just like
stiff upper lip.
What people kept telling me there and other doctors and other occasions, it's like, imagine you broke your leg. That was something that people said a lot. You broke your leg and you need time to heal and you're trying to sprint this whole time. I think if there was even an acknowledgement that this stuff is real, like it would have made it a lot easier. It still was really hard to get through the fog because like my brain chemistry was just off. And that's another thing that's really odd about this situation. Your reality, your review of the world, is shaped by the chemicals in your brain. And if they're off, then your view of your reality is off. Even just like your mood. Like if your mood is bad, you will interpret people's actions differently. And this was such an extreme version of that where I thought that I was there and everyone working and like giving me support was just like, this guy's so dramatic. Even when I was there, like I wasn't even like strong enough to tell the people that were giving me support and what was going on. I kept telling them like, oh, everything's fine. I'm fine. I'm just being over dramatic. I'm fine. And just feeling so much shame that I couldn't even really talk about it. So I wasn't a good patient to deal with either. Is it okay that I talk to you about this? Just the more serious stuff. I had and in my head, I had a moral obligation to all the people around me to do that. I'm such a burden on everyone around me. I need to rid them of that. And I was being a weak person by not being able to go through with it.
That is, wow.
That was the inside of my head at that severity, like a month.
Good grief.
That's what happens when your brain chemistry in this way gets off. I remember when I left for 1st of October, I remember we went through this like sheet where like, how's your anxiety 1 out of 10? And I'm like 10. How's your sleep? I'm like terrible. Self-harm urges all the time. Then they're like, are you sure you want to go? I'm like, I have to do this. And I chose to do it. Like no one was pushing me. No one was pushing me to do any work at all.
Everyone, you thought that like, if the channel audience found out about this, you're done.
Yes, totally. I thought that this was gonna be like I'm canceled. Because people realized that I faked these ailments to get attention from the people around me. It was not real. Basically, everyone's saying like, you're not ready to leave, but if you're gonna make that decision, we can't stop you. And the reason why I left was because 1st of October was coming up and we had already spent a ton of money on everything. I guess I could have canceled, but I definitely felt like I couldn't. Like I felt like if I didn't do this, then this would expose me for having this happen to me. And this happening to me was my fault. And then my career would be over. Like that was something that I believed. And I also just really wanted to do it. Like after so long of like such a hard time, I felt like I want to do this.
Because it's your favorite thing.
This is I love 1st of October so much. Of course I want to do this. So I thought like once I get there, I would be so excited about this that I would just be able to break through this stuff, but that didn't happen.
It lasted for a song and a half.
No.
I just don't like this song.
Well, you gotta like it.
Yep.
1st of October for me personally was a disaster. Oh my God.
It was really scary.
Guys. Holy shit, I'm so tired.
2 songs in, I was like, how are we gonna get through this day?
Yeah.
He's writing like
Good. I think Angie might be picking up a lot of the slack this year.
Because you are not you.
No, I was so scared. Like, I'm on camera. I'm in
You're
front
on
of
3
people.
cameras.
Yeah, I'm on 3.
Hey, look at me.
I can't do this.
Thankfully, when you're in a band with Andrew Huang, you can just do nothing. This album's still great. Another thing that's weird is we were in an amazing Airbnb in London about to like shoot in Abbey Road. I should be having such a great
Can I
time
tell
right
you
now.
something,
Yeah.
Rob? The rest of us had a great time.
Yeah, good. I had a terrible time. The night before 1st of October, I was so nervous I didn't get any sleep. I got sick.
And the day
I also
after
had
you were
COVID.
sick. Yeah.
We didn't know until the next day, but
We all got COVID.
we all got COVID. I felt so much like shame and
I know.
embarrassment
I know.
because I like couldn't do it.
You were able to get through the day.
Yeah.
And you were able to participate a lot more than you thought you were.
Yeah, you edited it to be great, but like
Here's the thing.
being in there in the room was totally different.
You can do it.
How you doing?
I felt like this time around, I haven't been able to write songs at all.
It's been harder.
Yeah, I don't
You
feel
came
like
up with
I
a
was
bunch of
able to-
stuff.
Usually, yeah, the one about not being able to write songs.
Yeah.
I was able to write songs about not being able to write songs. I mean, there's something going on. There's a medical thing going on. And I think I'm feeling it today.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
I haven't been able to get over it.
Well, you haven't done a full day shoot.
Yeah, I
in
know.
a year. It's
Since
been a long time.
since Sonic Boom. I was hoping I'd be able to come here and like the excitement of it would get me over it, but it's still, I'm
I
still
think-
sick.
We can do whatever you're up for.
Yeah.
We can cut a song or two. We can.
I mean, the expectation's always if it succeeds, awesome. If it fails, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it,
I mean, you've said that to me before.
yeah. Maybe
it's bad,
this might
it's
be the
so
most
cool
interesting project so far.
1st of October was the first time I saw you have no opinion. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Andrew would ask you, like, what do you think about this? And you'd just be like, eh.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know you're embarrassed about it, but it wasn't you, man.
Yeah, I felt like I was throwing my career away.
I know.
I think I'm going to really enjoy the album with enough time. I was able to get slightly excited about Usually because I was singing about exactly what was going on.
Usually, this comes easy to me, but recently, I'm just feeling numb.
I feel like you've said the things now.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe the most embarrassing thing is that I hired people when I didn't have a job for them because I was just in mania so excited. And the people that I hired are incredible.
Yeah, people left jobs.
Yeah. One person.
One
left.
person.
Jessica.
Jessica,
Man,
brutal.
that's just being a bad friend.
This again was a brain thing. You thought there was no way it wasn't going to work out.
Exactly. Knowing Jessica, there's no way it's not gonna work out. And the way that it didn't work out, I hired Jessica to book a ton of shoots. My whole life fell apart and then cancel them.
She was
Yeah.
going to book everything for you,
Yeah.
and she was doing it very, very well.
That's another thing that made this tough is like I'm running a business and the business is around my creative output, which went to nothing.
Yeah.
And when I told Jessica that I couldn't hire anymore, I thought that my business was like this close to collapsing. Telling her that I could not afford to have her on the team, one of the lowest points in my life ever.
Yeah.
It still really just really hurts, and I'm sure it hurts her too. I want to work with Jessica as much as I possibly can, and yeah, that was the most embarrassing thing that I did. From all the professionals that I know, I'm okay now. I have bipolar 1 disorder, but as long as I stay away from like psychedelic drugs or this particular medication, everything should be good. But if it does happen again, we'll know what to do.
Exactly.
And we'll be more prepared. So I'm in a really good spot. But even so, this is something that happens to people regardless of medication. I now know people through being open about this stuff who do have it. Another really great support was Emily Grassley. She's another YouTuber, an old school YouTuber. She did a post about her struggles with bipolar, which really, really helped. I felt very seen with that. So I hope this video does the same. And I made a lot of art around that time.
Yeah.
I have a whole album,
Yeah.
which much of it is about this.
Yeah.
So like, it's gonna be kind of out in the open anyway, if I'm gonna be making this stuff. And this feels good. It feels like the end of the...
It does.
It's what I wanted 1st of October to be. Like, now I am very firmly on the other side of this.
We've had aspects of this conversation in normal life, but the fact that you're having this conversation in front of a lens makes this feel over.
Yeah, I was telling my wife earlier before we started filming, it's like, this is, I think, the right time to make it, because I'm now on the other side and I can see things in hindsight a lot better. And I'm almost sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm so ready to just get back to like regular making stuff. I'm super, super thankful for, first off, my wife.
Yes.
I love my wife so much. My close friends have been incredible. Doctors around me, been a huge help. My team that I make videos with. I'm also really thankful for this audience.
Aww.
All of you. I'm ready to just get back to making stuff. And I got a lot of stuff I made around the time too.
Yeah, let's put it out.
Yeah, let's put it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I just mentioned that I was really thankful for you. There with me every step of the way. On camera too.
Oh, Lord.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm sure this is the last time I'll do a video like this. And we'll see you soon.
But it's such a YouTuber video that you've never made before.
I know.
I know.
It's weird making a video that has nothing to do with music.
YouTuber video.
Yeah, I really wanted to make sure the video didn't have like apology video vibes. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah. I'm just glad that we did this.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Feel good.
Woo!
Video. Hope you're all doing well. Wish you the best. Video done.
Cool. Usually, this comes easy to me, but recently, I'm just feeling numb. Typically, I can get it in 1 try or 3, but lately, I'm just thinking wrong. Usually, this would be setting me free, but recently, I'm just feeling numb. Honestly, I could use just a little bit